Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. Available everywhere you listen to audio. Yeah, I'm gonna tag the episode numbers, but I gotta go back, man, cause I don't know if my count is right. We like 120 something episode, the Klyph Notes podcast. It's like 125, I believe. But I'm really excited to share this one with y'all, man, because I had a chance to chop it up with some people who I've been building with over the years, who I'm already a fan of just for the relationship that we've built, the things that they've done and the support that they provided, not only to the community, but specifically to me through Mic Check PDX. I had a chance to sit and chop it up with Philip and Malachi from Trumpet Labs, a local Portland microphone manufacturing business that makes just dope looking and better sounding microphones, man. And such a great conversation, man, just to get the history of the company and talk about the growth of the company and the things that they have done and continually plan to do. But it's really special because we're releasing this the month that is the 10th anniversary of Trumpet Labs, yo. So we're celebrating 10 years of a great company making great products that are used all over the world, man, in many different genres of recording, live performance. And I think you're really gonna dig it. I think you're really gonna want to go and buy one of these Trumpet Lab microphones after you listen to this episode. So check this one out, man. The latest episode of the Klyph Notes podcast featuring Philip and Malachi from Trumpet Labs. Let's go. Support for the Klyph Notes podcast comes from Akepele Apparel, an idea born from a love of hip-hop, funk, and soul music and its surrounding cultures. With fashion being a huge visual part of the cultures, they've created expressive images to pay homage, invoke nostalgia, and showcase the elements that make up the lifestyle and cultures of these genres. Akepele, apparel for the music lifestyle. For more information, check out akepele.com. That's AKEPELE.com. Yes, yeah. Welcome back to another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. Available everywhere you get your podcasts. You know what it is, man. Like everywhere you get audio, which is so dope. I was just looking at Audible earlier today, looking at all the podcasts that I have up on Audible. So Pandora, of course, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of the above. You know what it is. Hey, yo, this one is cool. We've been talking about setting this one up for a while, and I feel real blessed, real honored to have a chance to chop it up with these folk, man, for a number of reasons, and just really give folk an opportunity to hear the story if they haven't heard it thus far. Local Portland manufacturing company, Trumpet Labs. We have Philip and we have Malachi Graham in the building. How y'all doing?
Great. I'm really excited to be here, Klyph. As you say, finally.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, first of all, man, it's really cool to me to have an opportunity to talk to a company like Trumpet, because the work that you do. I mean, you built a company out of love and out of sort of seeing a need there that is now an international company. But I'm gonna let you tell the story. Like, how did how this all start? Like the idea of building microphones.
Ooh, just out of boredom in a way. Boredom and preserving my sanity at a day job that I had at the time. I was a computer programmer for years. Did a lot of internet programming from when the internet was brand new, and it seemed cool and fun and inventive for a while.
Yeah.
But then it kind of settled into being a grind, and so to keep my sanity together, I was spending a lot of time actually here where I am right now in my basement at my workbench, just tinkering on stuff.
Yeah.
All different kinds of things. I would go through phases, and I built pinhole cameras for a little while, and then I got into audio stuff. It's because I'm a terrible guitar player, and so when you play guitar really badly, one of the ways you can distract yourself from that is by tweaking your amp all the time. And that's pretty much what got me into electronics. I really didn't know much about electronics before that. So I spent a few years building tube guitar amps, converting, old tube PA heads into guitar amps and things like that. And the only thing that got me into microphones really was Malachi.
Okay.
Malachi's a songwriter and was starting to play and wanting to record some of the songs that she had done. And first came to me about that, like, well, so how do we do this? And that was the first time that I really looked into microphones at all in a conscious way.
Yeah.
And so because I was occupying my time with doing, building different audio things, I was like, I wonder what it would take to build a microphone. And you just ask that one question, and then you go and start trying to find out the answers, and there's a whole world opens up.
Yeah. Which is crazy. So Malachi, like when you think back to that moment, like talking to Philip about, just about the process, and then you look at where you are right now, like any sense at all that like this is where that question might have led to?
No, definitely not. It seemed like one of his usual, like, overly supportive dad moves. So it was like, oh, I'm getting into songwriting. He'll build me a microphone. It'll be so cool. We had no idea where this would go, and that now 10 plus years later, it would be my full-time job is managing a company, sending mics all over the world, and getting to spend my days talking to artists. And yeah, it's fantastic. I feel super lucky to have parents that are supportive of me being a, creative person and a musician, but also that just show me it's possible to do something absurd, start making microphones in your basement out of hardware parts and turn it into a company. Yeah,
that's so crazy. And then I would imagine to have an opportunity, to do this with your dad has got to be kind of special, right?
It's so special. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's we're a small company, and yeah, just getting to work with my dad every day is really great.
That's what's up. So Philip, one of the things that I think when people look at ear trumpet, the things that stands out initially is the design. The idea of creating microphones that look the way that they do. Was that a conscious thing? Because I know you said that, you're a tinkerer. You kind of started tinkering and putting stuff together. Was that idea of, okay, if we're going to do this, I want to have this visual look, or was it, let's put this together and see what it sounds like, and that's what it looks like too?
I kind of a mixture of both, but definitely really conscious of the visual look of it as I was assembling them. I mean, one of the first things that struck me as I was sort of researching how mics are built and designed is that there is a huge amount of flexibility in the physical structure and construction of them to get them to work as microphones and work well. They actually can look like, almost anything. There's just some basic thing, like you gotta have some kind of metal shielding around around the elements and the electronics to keep interference out. But other than that, you find any shape, any form, any way, to make it happen. And so that was kind of one of the things that seemed really interesting to me was like, well, since it doesn't really seem to matter, why are there so few different designs? Yeah. Like, why does everything pretty much just look alike?
Right.
And that, so that was in my head from the beginning, was like, let's try some different things. Let's see. And then, I'm not really a metal worker. So, I'm like a machinist, let's say. So, my way of making things, it was a lot easier to find parts and pieces that I could sort of modify a little bit and stick together.
Right.
So that's how we end up with them made out of, plumbing tubing and an electrical conduit, flanges, and, just a lot of different parts and pieces, some like lamp hardware, there's things like that. And then, once I was actually assembling and putting stuff together, you just have this instinct, like you want to make it look good. If you're making it, you want it to at least be sort of balanced and aesthetically pleasing, and just to have a nice look and feel to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was nice to just have that sense from the beginning that the whole point was to do something different, was to try and experiment with different stuff.
Yeah. So then Malachi, when you're talking to artists and people are reaching out or whatever, especially people maybe who haven't worked with you guys yet, or maybe just weren't aware of Trumpet Labs yet, do you consistently get feedback on that? The designs, do you get that feedback?
Definitely. And we hear from people that are like, oh, I finally found you. I had seen these mics around and didn't know what to Google, which is hard sometimes. I think the visual element is something, I feel like people put so much work into how other things look on stage. People want a guitar amp that not only sounds amazing, but has a visual character that looks like the band. You care how your instruments look, or how you dress on stage, or all of these other elements. And then the mic has often been just this sort of last piece, they all look the same. We did the sort of standard mic that you have on every stage. And so I think it's been really cool to bring more visual character to mics that you can perform with, and have that be an object of beauty. And then I think on the other side, sometimes people see how they look and are like, oh, it's a visual gimmick. And it's no, just a great looking guitar or guitar amp it's not a gimmick. It's a beautiful thing that is built both to look good and sound really good. So I think they look so distinctive, which has been cool for our brand. But from Philip's perspective, he spends way more time thinking about nerding out on this sound quality and the inside stuff. So it's sort of, they have to go hand in hand. It's the form and the function coming together. No
doubt. And that was something that I've been thinking about, Philip, as you're working on developing and designing these microphones, especially, you have a number of microphones that are available for different situations with Trumpet Labs. Was that the idea of I think I can do this. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, now, I can do this. But to build microphones to the quality that you have, because when we read reviews, that's one of the things that we talk about. And we know that most of the time, the majority of the time that we see at Trumpet Labs, they're built for capturing an acoustic sound, which needs to be, there are certain requirements, right? It needs to be pure. You want to hear the sound of the instrument, whether that be the human voice, or whether it be an instrument that someone's playing. You want to be able to feel the sound of the room, but all of the technical pieces that go into that. Was that just a lot of, I just got to do a lot of reading, I got to do a lot of research? How do you make that happen?
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely starts with a lot of reading and research, but I didn't know a lot about this going into it. And luckily, this is one of the great things about doing it, something as odd as this here in Portland, is that immediately people were super supportive. And I had some really invaluable help from engineers in town, some live engineers that, when I was like, I need to know more about how these are actually going to work in a live setting on a live stage. What are your concerns about something like this? Because they're condenser mics, and that's, anybody that's done live sound or had the sort of 30-minute intro to live sound that you get as the bartender. one of the things that's immediately conveyed, as a sort of gut reaction to a lot of sound people is like, oh, condenser mics, they're really hard to control on stage. You get a lot of feedback with those. Don't use those. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, I had some engineers that were interested enough. They were like, oh, well, if you can actually try and design one that'll work, like, yeah, I'd be into it. And actually let me shadow them for nights, like spend a whole night with them watching exactly what they do from, setup through sound check, through running a show. And having the chance to do that taught me so much, just about what the real world concerns and problems are. And while, there are ideals about like how I would like these to work, I'm like, yeah, okay, well, this is gonna, I'm gonna have to make some adjustments to make this actually work practically, in a real world thing.
That's what's up, man. So I had to look back because I couldn't really remember because, I'm getting old and my memory's not what it used to be. But it was late 2018 that you folk were kind enough to support something that I have an opportunity to do here in Portland, which is Mic Check, the local hip hop event. And you folks have been just so supportive and so kind in helping to provide these platforms for local artists since then. And it's amazing. We're in 2021 recording this, thinking that it's been that long. And one of the things that we did, the first Mic Check event that I was able to have Ear Trumpet Labs support, actually used one of the Ear Trumpet Labs mics at the event. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was like, okay, we about to put this condenser mic on stage at a hip hop show. So, and it sounded so great. I think the engineer who was mixing that night was absolutely familiar with Ear Trumpet Labs being a Portland brand. But when we look at, like I said, I mean, most of what we see, we get to see acoustic instruments, we get to see vocalists, but you folk work with artists who are not only acoustic artists. Is that right? Yeah,
absolutely. We've got, one of our models in particular is really designed as a closer vocal mic. It's a little more similar in form factor, even though it still looks pretty funky. The Chantel is still, you can use it as an end address, like pretty close vocal mic. Mm-hmm. And it's a condenser, and it's actually a medium-large diaphragm condenser. You wouldn't necessarily think about that for as a close vocal mic, but it's really designed for that purpose, and you can use it on really loud stages without it definitely can hang in there with any dynamic mic for the gain that you can get. And it gives you a bunch of extra, it gives you a kind of clarity. And it's always, what vocalists want, for their sound is always, it's super personal. And I guess the thing that I would say is that, don't be afraid to play around and try some different options, because you may find that there are sounds and there's a sound quality that, that's different than what everybody else sounds like and is doing, that might really suit what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
In particular on vocals and getting real clear articulation and like really being able to hear the detail and subtlety of both delivery and even just intelligibility. It's worth playing around with different options, and mics really do sound different.
If you put up like a Chantel next to a SM58 or put them side by side in a live room, it can be really incredible, the difference in the lyricality that you can hear, the intelligibility. I'm a like lyricist and I play in a synth pop band. And so Chantel is totally my favorite for being able to get that stage volume and have the subs really going and have drums on stage and have all that, but still wanting my words to come out and be sort of the centerpiece of the sound.
Yeah. No, that's what's up. Well, Malachi, I was gonna ask that because, you know, now that you are running this huge, no, I'm joking. Now that you are, you know, in the position that you are working with Ear Trumpet Labs, what impact does that have on your artistry now, right? Because it's, I mean, we really think about it. We can, you know, we have you to thank for Ear Trumpet Labs, right?
Thank you. I'll take it.
But how
I
does
did not invent them, but right? I inspired the invention.
You are the inspiration. So what do you, artistically, what is this situation, being able to talk to other artists and build with other artists and work with and support artists in their craft, what impact has it had on you and your artistic journey?
That's such a great question. I think often people that are like artists that are pursuing their own craft, it can be really hard to have the perspective on what other people are doing and how they're doing it, and keep your eyes really open to just all different kinds of music. And I think just by getting to do this all day, I have spent more time in like the bluegrass world than I ever expected. That was not our background as music fans, but because, you know, we happen to have these mics that work really well in bluegrass, we've been talking to that community, or the folk music community, not just like American folk music, but world folk music, like all kinds of people making music all over the world, and getting to talk to artists at all stages of their career and just hear what's important to them and what they're thinking about. And that's so inspiring. Like when I come back, and then in my creative world, I have a couple of different projects. And so I feel like that genre thing has kind of spread out in my world, where at this point I have a synth pop project. I have sort of an indie rock project under my own name. And sometimes I sing bluegrass harmonies, but like, it totally makes sense that I'm swimming in those waters all day, just getting to talk to people doing interesting things.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. So we look at the beginnings, and then we have an opportunity to celebrate. So this is going to release the first week of August, and this will release kicking off the month of the 10-year anniversary of Ear Trumpet. Hold on. The 10-year anniversary of Ear Trumpet Labs. That's gotta be crazy. I mean, I've had an opportunity to celebrate various anniversaries, work anniversaries, production anniversaries, wedding anniversaries. Shout out to wifey. But to be able to say, like, man, we've been doing this for 10 years. To be able to look back on the growth and the experiences that you had no idea that you were going to have, and I guess, Philip, that's a question is, you know, when you built that first microphone for Malachi, at that point, was there any sense of, I think this is a direction I want to go as a business, or was it, let me do this and make it work really good, and then, you know, work on this other project that I've been thinking about?
Yeah, it was definitely not in my head to do it as a business. The first ones that I was doing, like I say, I was just like doing it to keep things interesting in my life. So, you know, answering some questions and trying to do something creative and interesting. You know, it just sort of came together with, frustration with my other job. And then I had made enough and learned enough and made some interesting mics and knew, well, like I say, it was a community more than anything, because we knew enough musicians that, I was able to show them to musicians who were like, oh, this looks really dope. Like, could I actually, and it wasn't even my idea to use them, as live mics originally. It was musicians that looked at them were like, I'd love to be able to use that on stage. Like, would that work? Yeah. And I was like, let me think about that. And I went in and then did some like conscious design stuff to make that happen and to make them really good live mics. All of that just was kind of driven by by other people and by the community musicians here.
Yeah.
And, and then it just kind of reached a head. Now it's like, well, I definitely don't want to do my other job. I have this is my current obsession. I'll try it out and just see how it works. And luckily, I was, lucky enough at that time to be able to have like, all right, I can give this a few months and see if there's any traction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just scraping by building them here in the basement for years. But it's always been like that. And it's always been musicians in the community that have, that's totally built the company.
Yeah.
It's like a couple of musicians that like them, try them out, take them out on the road. And then, luckily they're visually distinctive enough that they're kind of their own advertising. Once they're out there, people are using them, then people notice them and ask, and, just like a slow build, but it's always artists, willing to try them out, using them, at sounding great, making amazing music. I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's always the music and the musicians first. Like, there's only so much a microphone can actually do to change anything. But if somebody's there having a really great experience at a show because of an amazing musician, and my mic is in front of them, right? Like, I'm just benefiting from that association, most of the time.
I know exactly what you mean, man. I'm just providing the tools for you to do what you do.
That's exactly, yeah.
I've seen on your social media, oftentimes you guys will post photos or video clips of some of the performers using those microphones, and I know that I assume that you have a sense of, I know, like, they bought this mic and they're doing this performance at XYZ. But does it hit you any kind of, and maybe not, it's happened enough now it doesn't, but does it hit you any kind of way to see, there's an ear trumpet microphone on, I don't know, Good Morning America, whatever the case may be?
Yeah, absolutely. It totally still.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, you definitely don't want to get jaded about stuff like that, because it really does, it is mind blowing, to think that this stuff that we, that I just came up with a weird design of my own that we still make entirely by hand. There's, is out there, making that much of an impact.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Okay. So August 10-year anniversary, y'all got like all kinds of stuff planned. I know, like, I'm not quite sure what you have planned. So Malachi, what's up with the 10-year anniversary? I know. I mean, it's a big deal, man.
I'm so excited. So we're kind of celebrating all month. We were trying to figure out when the actual 10-year was, and we know that it was sometime in August. So we're just going to be making a big deal the whole month. That was when the website launched in 2011. So there's going to be merch. There's going to be a special edition mic that we're really excited about that our crew is building right now. We're going to have a video special, which is going to be a bunch of our favorite artists from all over the country and the world, like, sending us little performances and all kinds of stuff. So that's going to be artists like the Milk Carton Kids, Gangsta Grass, Amethyst Kia, Sierra Farrell, just like a bunch of people we love. So we're really excited about that. And then for the last 10 days of August, we're doing an event where all of our profits are going to go to Meso PDX, which is a really great organization in the Portland area and Oregon, that does business funding and basically helps people start their own small businesses. And so we just want to help pay it forward to help other people start small businesses, especially from underrepresented communities.
That's so dope, man. I want to come back to the celebration, but I want to touch on that in particular, because that's something that you folks have been doing for a minute now, which is supporting organizations and groups that traditionally have not been supported or have not had opportunities. And why is that important to you?
Because we've been incredibly lucky and blessed to be able to, make this, this thing. We love doing this, and for now, at least, it's profitable. I don't know. That's I just feel like whenever you're in a position like that, you kind of need to share. It's actually a decision. Most of that, the organization giving that we do on a regular basis is actually driven by all of the employees. It's something we've been doing for a while. Is we do profit sharing within the company, so everybody that works there, and then we decided, what was it, a couple of years ago now, maybe a year and a half ago, I think, just with all the need that's out there in the community, the employees together all decided, in addition, or like off the top of all of that, like we're going to share 10% of our profits every quarter. And so that's, I mean, because there is profit sharing, I just want to emphasize that's like everybody in the company is making that, is making that share out of their own share. So that's really been driven by them. And every quarter we, people have different ideas about groups they'd like to support. And we, kind of send them around to each other and just decide on what that's going to be. I'm really proud of that, and proud of I'm proud of the employees and the way that they've emphasized that as part of their own work.
It's so cool. I mean, for lack of a better term, it's so cool to see you guys making that choice, because with the platform that you have, that it's so powerful, not in just what you're doing in terms of supporting those companies and those groups, but it's so powerful in how you are setting an example and, showing that we have the power with whatever tools or whatever opportunities we have to truly, truly make a difference, man. So I just want to say big ups to y'all for doing that, and, encourage people to recognize that and support the movement however they can with what you're doing, because we truly can make a difference. And so I'm in this place in my life now. I don't know, maybe because I am getting old, but I think it's important to give people their flowers while they're here to appreciate them. And so I want to make sure that y'all get y'all flowers. So that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So then the celebration is happening in August. You mentioned the video piece that you guys are doing. Is that going to be August 25th?
That is, yeah.
Okay.
August 25th.
So I am not at all in a position to do this officially, but I am going to say that event is going to be Hip Hop Week adjacent, because it's right in the middle of Hip Hop Week. So tap in.
Sweet. Oh, that's so great. I'm so excited for Hip Hop Week.
Well, and that's the thing, man. We're celebrating Hip Hop Week in August, August 20th through the 26th. And once again, so grateful to have Trumpet Lab be a supporter of not just Mic Check, which is happening on the 20th, which is an amazing event, but really grateful to have a company in the city, in times where there's been some challenges in terms of the relationship between hip hop and the city of Portland, but shout out to DJ OG1, who's done so much work, as well as Star Child, rest in peace, in building those conversations between the city and the hip hop community. And we see that Hip Hop Week is an example of kind of what we talked about, that we can make a difference in the community. So to have you folk be a part of that, I'm really, really grateful for. And it really just came from just building a relationship with you, Philip, and so grateful for your openness and willingness and seeing the vision of what we're trying to do. And Malachi has been so dope to build with you via email and now in person, in terms of having that Trumpet Lab logo on our flyers and being able to rock the Ear Trumpet Lab tee at events, which is really
cool.
You
rock the tee. You rock the tee.
You rock the tee, probably. Yeah, better than anybody.
So I just, again, thank you so much for your support. You mentioned also as a part of the celebration merch. So like if people want to get Ear Trumpet Lab merch, like what's the deal with that?
I am waiting on the merch to arrive, but I'm very excited about it. And we have it on our website at eartrumpetlabs.com. We have our current merch, and then throughout the month, I'll be dropping exciting new things. So new shirts. If I can make an exclusive reveal here on the podcast, there are going to be temporary tattoos that look like our microphones.
That's what's up.
That are like metallic temporary tattoos and really cool designs by a local designer. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. So those will be on our website, or we also, our workshop is in Northeast Portland, and people who are curious are welcome to give us a call and stop by for a tour, certainly. If anybody is just in the spirit of Philip started this wild and wacky business, if anybody is interested in how to start a small audio company like this, by all means, like, our doors are wide open. Come talk to us about it. We would love to advise from our very particular weird little niche of the audio market. But there's some really cool audio companies in Portland, and anybody that is curious about that and thinks like, well, I'm making something weird in my basement. Could I do that as my job? Like, please come talk to us. We'd love to help.
No doubt. And then one of the things that's exciting, and the fact that there is going to be a new microphone that's going to be released, a 10th anniversary situation. Now, you guys, you've done some. If people go to the website eartrumpetLabs.com, there's a link there to some of the custom microphones that you guys have done. Which one did you do? Like the flat black, like limited run joint? Which one was that?
Yeah, that's the dark Edwina. Those are really cool. They're Cerakoted, which is, we took our mics are usually sort of coppery and metallic-y, and we had them coated in this light ceramic finish that's actually usually used in like firearms manufacturing. And so we had them do that to all the pieces, and it ended up just looking like, it looks like, when you're used to seeing the metallic ones, it's so wild seeing the black ones. They're so cool.
It's like the negative space version. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So, we did that. Well, if you like that idea, keep your eye out with us, because it turns out we did it as a special run for Halloween, like 3 years ago, mm-hmm. And then it was popular enough that we decided we are actually going to do a limited run of that every year around Halloween.
Nice. So dope. Something else that you guys did that I thought was really unique, and I don't remember what year it was, but one year in April, you guys did like this oak barrel situation. What was that? What was that about?
Philip?
Late April, sometimes.
Late April?
Oh no, I guess early April. Yeah,
I would call it really early.
Yeah,
like maybe
late March,
early
April. Yeah, every year again. Just like keep an eye. We do some special products. So this one, we were really proud of this one. We work next door or in the same building with a brewery that does a lot of barrel aging of their beers, and so there's all these bourbon barrels sitting around in the building all the time. Yeah. And so I had the idea that barrel aging seems to impart a lot of subtle character to your beverages, so why not to your audio products?
Yeah. And that was like a one-off situation. Like there was only one of those that was done, right?
Yep.
So y'all can't
we left a microphone in a barrel for literally an entire year.
Literally a year. Yeah.
We did. For real. We did.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. For real.
It was in there for a year. We do not. Yeah. We commit to our bits. Okay, we commit.
Oh, snap. Okay, I didn't realize that was a situation. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Whole new respect. There were definitely people writing in like,
oh, okay, can you tell me more about this bourbon microphone? Like, what's the character? Like, well, I mean, it was in there. I don't know if I can speak to whether it has a drastically different character. It was just sitting in a barrel, but people were like, no, I get it. It's funny. I want to buy it.
It's the whole thing was so well done. Because when I was watching the piece that you did, I was like, okay, I'm not quite sure this is. It was just so well done, so well put together.
Thank you.
That's great to hear. That's exactly what we want. We just want to lead you in. Yeah.
No doubt, man. Well, again, I just think that the work that you guys have done with the product that you've created, and I can speak to it again because I've had an opportunity to use your Trumpet Lab mics. When the things that we talked about in terms of how you support the community, how you support what I do personally, very, very grateful for. And then just the y'all are just such cool people, man. So I'm glad and grateful to be connected to you as you continue to grow, and anxious to see what the next 10 years brings. Are there any other things that people should be? Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about was this year you guys did, for the first time, you did a situation that was tied in with Juneteenth, which I think is really cool. I want to give you an opportunity to speak on what you did, and a pretty significant year to do it now that it is officially a national holiday. But what was the Juneteenth event that you did in collaboration with another organization?
We partnered with some people we really love in the bluegrass community called Bluegrass Pride that are working for all kinds of equity in the bluegrass world. And they just put on this incredible event called, it was Juneteenth for Porch Pride, which is an event they were doing. They had Brandy Waller-Pace, who's this just incredible musician and activist who has a project called Decolonizing the Music Room, which is all about bringing in instruments and bringing in more diverse knowledge to music education. And she curated just this wonderful lineup of performers, emphasizing the queer and Black roots of Pride. So it was looping in Juneteenth and Pride together. We were super happy to partner on that event. That was just really cool. And the artists on that are really worth checking out. No doubt, man. So once again, just another example of I think how you guys, I believe in living life louder than words. It's really easy to say, oh yeah, I want to, I believe in this and I want to support, but you guys are actively, putting these actions or putting these words into action. So know that it is seen and it is appreciated, not only by me, but obviously by the people that you're impacting. The website is eartrumpetlabs.com. Big event coming up. Like, it's starting now. By the time you hear this, we're in the celebration month, 10-year anniversary month. Any other specific things that people should know about in terms of tapping in with Ear Trumpet? eartrumpetlabs.com, at Ear Trumpet Labs on social, all those places. Find us anywhere. It's Philip and I are the ones who respond to everything. We have us and 4 builders, so we're a tight-knit group. Reach out anytime with questions. I talk to people all the time about what mic is right for them, what might be good. They're also good, they're great in videos too. They're great for live use. They're great for home recording. They're great in the studio, but they also make a great impression in videos. So if anybody is looking to make some cool video stuff, our mics are great for that. I also just want to say, thank you so much for having us. This is having this relationship with you, Klyph, and seeing everything you do for the community. It is such an honor to work with you. It's really fantastic to meet in person. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, last question for you, Philip. I would imagine, my wife and I never had children, but I've heard this all my life, that when you have children, you don't necessarily have a favorite, right? You love them all equally. You've created all of these microphones over this 10-year period. Do you have a favorite?
Ooh. Okay, this one is going to be, it's going to maybe feel like it's a little out of left field. Okay. Because I'm not a bass player. But weirdly, I think the mic that I'm most proud of is the one I did for acoustic upright bass specifically. That's It's kind of one of the more unique designs. It came about because of a collaboration with, a band and a bass player that I really love, and they pretty much forced me into it. And it ended up being great. But I think the thing that really, really, I feel chuffed about it all the time is bass players genuinely seem to love it. And I don't know if you know any acoustic upright bass players. They don't love anything. Like, they're always so sad about their sound. And they're carrying a small cow around with them all the time.
Right.
I feel so much sympathy for them. But anyway, they genuinely, like, the feedback on this, or the response that we've gotten from people, like, genuinely seeming excited and to love this as a tool that lets them do something they couldn't do before. Yeah, I'd have to shout that out. So that's Nadine. Nadine is the name of that model.
Okay. And is correct me if I'm wrong, is there a story behind that? Because the one thing that we didn't talk about is your microphones all have unique names that you wouldn't necessarily think about. Like, they're not named the M57, Q, right? Like, they're actual names. And Nadine was named for a bass player, right? Yeah, for the bass player that pressured me into making that.
Nadine Landry, who plays with Foghorn String Band, she's an incredible player. There you go.
Yep. So dope. Again, just the creative things that you do with every aspect of the company, I think is really cool, really to be celebrated. So that's what's up.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, it's dope to be able to build with you guys, and I'm glad that you get to celebrate having done this for 10 years and just grateful for the relationship that we have. So I want to encourage everybody, check out your Trumpet Labs. Again, the mics look great, but they sound great, and they're great for everything, whether you're doing in-studio recording, live performance. I know a couple people who are shooting some music videos, so I'm going to see if I can't, point them in this direction. Exactly, man. EarTrumpetLabs.com, EarTrumpet Labs on social media. Malachi and Philip, thank y'all so much for being on this episode of Klyph Notes.
Thank you, Klyph.
Appreciate y'all, man. Remember, the Klyph Notes podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, like literally everywhere. You can check it out also at klyphnotes.com. If you have questions or comments, you can hit me up at klyphnotes@gmail.com. A couple shout outs, man. Big ups to, and thank you so much for the support of Akepele Apparel, for their continued support of the Klyph Notes podcast. You can check them out. They're getting ready to release some new gear. Akepele.com, AKEPELE.com. And last but never ever least, actually before that, big ups to Ear Trumpet Labs for supporting Mic Check. The Mic Check is going down at the 2021 PDX Hip Hop Week, kicking off August the 20th. It's so dope. It's going to be at the historic Crystal Ballroom, Lola's Room. So psyched for the event. Boom Bap Project is on the bill. First album in 15 years. They're headlining. We got Cool Nuts on the bill. We have JB coming through from Oklahoma. We have Hanif. Kunu is going to be in the building. Of course, DJ OG1 is going to be in the building. We have an opportunity to recognize someone who's done so much in such a short time in Portland, DJ Ambush, for the work that he's done with X-Ray FM and the numbers. And we get an opportunity to raise funds for Hip Hop Fighting Cancer, a local nonprofit. So come through. Tickets are available right now. Mic Check PDX, August the 20th at Lola's Room. Kicks off a dope week of great events. Tap into either miccheckpdx.com, djklyph.com, or pdxhiphopweek.com. And after you do that, after you buy your tickets to come to Mic Check, go straight to Ear Trumpet Labs and buy a microphone. Last but never ever least, big ups to the homie Theory Hazit for creating the official theme song for the Klyph Notes podcast. All right, y'all. Until we have an opportunity to do this again, y'all be blessed. Peace.